Hi there. This session is called Words Create Worlds. So, the intent is to learn how to eliminate certain words from your vocabulary in order to build more trust. My name is Karin Keats. I reside as a guest on Lekwungen territory in Victoria, BC, beautiful Victoria, BC. And I'm originally from Sweden, Stockholm, Sweden, and hence my name is Karin, not Karen. I currently work for Island Health, and I've also done a stint with the BC provincial government. I've worked as a consultant to government, and this is my first foray as an employee within healthcare. I wear many hats. I'm a mom, I'm a sister, I'm a daughter, I am a wife, and professionally, I do the discipline of change management. And within change management, I also wear a lot of hats. I support communications, I support training, I support executive, I support HR, and look out for stakeholder engagement pieces within projects or initiatives. So, the learning objectives for my session and my passion is to share with you so that you understand what discounting words are and some techniques that may help eliminate these discounting words from your vocabulary. So I'm passionate about words, and one reason maybe I am is English is not my first language. My first language was Swedish. And I feel words almost like in my body. And maybe some of you can relate to this, that words have a felt sense. I'm passionate about the words I use and often correct myself when a word I use doesn't feel quite right. And I think words are really important in terms of word choice in my professional life when I'm supporting communication efforts. What words are we using? Because words resonate differently with different groups or have different sentiments. So, discounting words, what are they? I first learned about them maybe 5 or 7 years ago when I attended a workshop for coaching. And this idea of discounting words and how these words sneak in there to discount ourselves, that we don't necessarily take up space or own what we are saying or who we are by adding discounting words to what we say or write. So it's not a discount in the sense of a discount, like a good sale discount. It's discount in the sense of to minimize, to use words to minimize or to disregard something, someone, ourselves. So one of my favorites is just, and it sneaks into my language all the time, and I hear it in others' language all the time. So, an example, I just wanted to ask if. I was just calling to. And my favorite, I'm just a healthcare aide. I'm just a mom. Oh, I'm just here to do change management. When we say just about who we are and what we do, disregarding, minimizing what we do. Another popular word is maybe. And I recognize that we might sometimes intentionally say the word maybe because we're trying to soften something we're communicating. But it can also be discounting. Maybe it's time to. Well, is it or is it not? Maybe makes it a little bit more indirect or disregards the intent of what we're trying to get at potentially. Maybe I can. And a fun cousin of maybe is perhaps, often used in the same kind of sentiment. Perhaps we could. Well, could we or couldn't we? Are we going to or are we not going to? Perhaps you know if, right? Here using potentially to soften something. And then another fun one is kind of, kinda. And I hear this one all the time. When someone's unsure of something, potentially unsure of themselves, unsure of the subject matter, and there's nothing wrong with that. But being aware of when this word is used, where it sneaks in, where it potentially discounts the person or what they're trying to deliver in terms of a message. It's kind of important. It's kind of clear. So when we use these words, they discount either ourselves, the message, maybe the topic. And again, I recognize that sometimes we use these words intentionally to soften something, and that's okay. We're having a delicate conversation with someone and we want to soften the message. But sometimes, oftentimes, they sneak in and we might not even know it. So here's an example. I was just wondering if you maybe have some time to meet with me to discuss the care plan, as it's kind of important. I'm going to read that again. I was just wondering if you maybe have some time to meet with me to discuss the care plan, as it's kind of important. So there's a couple of discounting words in there. And just for comparison's sake, let's remove the discounting words. And notice if it sounds different, if it feels different. I was wondering if you have some time to meet with me to discuss the care plan, as it's important. One is a little bit more direct. And one isn't better or worse than the other. One isn't wrong, one isn't bad, but different. If we remove those discounting words, there's a directness, and maybe there's a time and place for directness, and maybe there's a time, when we want to soften things. But being aware of the intent and who our audience is or how we are delivering something. So I don't share these words, and these are 4 kind of word groups of the kinda, the perhaps, the maybe, and the just. And there's plenty of others that could be used to be discounting. I don't share them for you to censor yourself or to feel bad or to stop talking. But I have some ideas of how we can think of it and how we could remove them if we wish. So the first one is simply awareness. You might not need to change anything about how you speak, how you write, how you make phone calls, but simply being aware that these words could come across as discounting yourself or discounting others, or an awareness of the felt sense of the words. And then you might find it's helpful to create notes for yourself. I don't know if anyone else does this, where they put a sticky note on their computer, or you can put a sticky note on your mirror, or maybe you make notes to yourself in your cell phone. Like, right, there's that reminder. Just. For a very long time, I had a sticky note on my computer that said just. If I was sending emails, did I really use that word just? Did I use it multiple times throughout? And I could edit and remove it and be like, I really didn't need that. Accountability buddies. So likely you have friends or colleagues, maybe it's family. If you are working on thinking about removing some of these words, it's really good to have a support system. So if you're wanting to remove discounting words, tell somebody. Be like, hey, I feel like sometimes discount myself, or I'm not clear with my language. I want to be more direct. I want to own what I'm saying. I want to take up space. Then have somebody help you. Tell them what you're working on and they can support you. So your accountability buddy. I'm trying to remove this word just. I'm not just a healthcare aide. I'm not just a mom, or I'm not just a dad. I am whoever I am, and I deserve to take up that space. Have somebody help you. Less is more. So the example I gave, that sentence, discussing the care plan, when you remove discounting words, the sentence is often shorter. So thinking of where can I remove words? Do they really need to be there? Does it have to be this lengthy? Or if I got rid of some words, whether it's you're able to remove them as you speak, which can be harder, whether it's something in writing, less is more. We don't have to add things like maybe or kind of. And then I think the saying is it takes 21 days to create a new habit. Maybe it takes 30 days. Maybe it takes longer. Recognizing that removing discounting words or being super mindful about the words you use is like building a new muscle. You're creating a new habit. So it doesn't happen overnight. To be kind to yourself and give yourself time to build this new habit of removing discounting words or being someone that doesn't use discounting words. Or when you're using certain words that I'm saying here could be used as discounting, you're using them intentionally. Like I know when I'm saying maybe or kinda, I'm not just throwing those words into my language. I'm being very clear and deliberate about when I use them. So, all those little tips, if you will. Awareness, simply being aware. You might say, this is garbage, Karin. I don't believe what you're saying. I don't think words create worlds. Doesn't matter to me, but okay, interesting. I'm aware of it. Or maybe you decide that you want to change something. And so you make yourself notes and reminders to be like, right, I always say this thing. And it seems kind of discounting to me or other people. You tell somebody about it. Maybe you have that accountability buddy. Less is more, knowing that usually saying less words will increase the likelihood that you're not using discounting words. And that removing discounting words from your language is like creating a new habit. It takes time. So this session, this info might feel like a gift, something you can unpack in your life, in your professional life, in your home life, something to talk about with colleagues, with friends. And again, it might take some time to unpack. It could be a gift that keeps on giving. There could be other words that you always use that you're like, oh, interesting. Why am I always saying things like that? So thank you so much for listening to me about my passion project here around words, that words create worlds. The words we use can be important, and that we want to avoid discounting ourselves or others. There's probably so many other words that could fall into the category of discounting words, discounting phrases or sentence or sentiments. So hopefully that gift keeps giving and you unpack this as something useful in your life. Thank you.